So imagine a life without colors. Would we have any need for glitter or paint? Highlighters, would they just be called gray lighters? And how gray our lives would actually be. Luckily though, the world is a colorful place with over 1,000 officially named colors in English. So surely, we need to know a little more than just the basic colors we learned in school. But what are these colors? What are truly the most important colors to know? And what color is the weirdest color in English? Well, let's find out. Before we start learning about colors, we need to talk about spelling. In the United States and to some extent Canada, color is spelled C-O-L-O-R. However, in the United Kingdom, Australia, and for the most part Canada, color is spelled C-O-L-O-U-R. There are many words that follow this spelling pattern, like favorite and flavor. Before we get into colors, there are actually 6 important adjectives that you need to know, and there's a good chance that you already know at least 3 of them. The first one is light, like this light blue and this light green. Dark, like this dark purple and this dark brown. And the third is bright, like this bright orange and this bright blue. The next adjective color you need to know is pastel. Pastel colors are soft and pale colors. That means they don't contain much color and they have lots of white in them. Here are 3 examples: pastel green, pastel blue, and pastel pink. Some colors don't really have pastel colors, like red and black. Pastel red, well, that would be pink. And pastel black, well, that's just gray. The next color adjective you need to know is metallic. If you look closely, you can see the word metallic almost spells out metal and like. And that's because when a color is metallic, it looks like metal. It's hard to illustrate metallic colors on a monitor, but here are metallic green, metallic blue, and metallic red. Some colors are always metallic, and so we don't use the word metallic in front of them. The 5 most important to know are gold, silver, bronze, brass, and copper. The last 2 color adjectives you need to know are neon and fluorescent. And they're pretty much the same thing. They're very bright colors like these highlighters. A trick you can use when talking about a color that is between 2 colors is adding ISH to one of the colors and a hyphen after the ISH to join the second color into it. For example, if you have a color between green and blue, you can call it either bluish green or greenish blue. However, we don't use this for colors that have obvious colors between them. So we don't use reddish yellow because that's orange, nor do we use reddish white because that's called pink. Now on to the colors. We all know the 9 basic colors like red, yellow, green, blue, purple, orange, brown, and of course white and black. So let's move on to the colors you actually need to learn. And remember to stay to the end to learn the differences between some similar colors that confuse even some native English speakers. I'm also going to talk about a color that has a very unusual difference in spelling that is rarely ever seen in English. There are some blues that are very common in English. They include baby blue, sky blue, navy, and cyan. If you have a printer at home, there's a good chance that your blue in your printer is called cyan. And there are also 4 colors that you need to know that are somewhere between green and blue. They're mint, aqua, turquoise, and teal. Mint is usually a little lighter and greener than turquoise, and aqua is a little bluer than turquoise. And teal, well, it's darker than the other 3. The most important green colors to know are emerald green, forest green, apple green, lawn green, lime green, army green, and olive green. Yes, there are a lot of greens. The red colors you need to know are crimson, Scarlet, which is slightly more orange than red, is. Rose, which is slightly pinker than red, is. Sienna, which is a brownish red color. And rust, which is very similar to sienna. And there are also two dark red colors that you need to know: burgundy and maroon. Some native English speakers prefer to use the term maroon, while others prefer burgundy. These two colors are so similar that the word for them in many languages is exactly the same. And there's also magenta, which is a dark pinkish red. A color most of us are familiar with is pink. Some similar colors you need to know are fuchsia, a bright purplish pink, and peach, a color somewhere between light pink and orange. The color gray is spelled Grey in the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada, but gray is Gray in the United States and by some Canadians. And a very dark gray is called charcoal. There are a couple of colors that are very similar: ivory, cream, beige, and blonde. I'll talk more about blonde later in the video. Two more very similar colors are khaki and tan. Usually tan is a richer color than khaki. A popular color between yellow and orange is amber. It's kind of the color of honey, or, well, amber, which is a fossilized tree resin. So one day, one of my students came to her lesson just as normal, but she left shocked and disillusioned after finding out that her favorite color was not what she had thought her entire life. For years, she had told me that her favorite color was purple, but during that lesson, she discovered that her favorite color was actually violet. She was devastated, as if like her whole life had been a lie. But don't worry, she was okay by her next lesson the following week. So what is the difference between purple and violet? Well, violet is bluer, and purple is more red. A popular color between violet and blue is called indigo. The last color I want to teach you is perhaps the strangest color in English, the color blonde. It's spelled both B-L-O-N-D and B-L-O-N-D-E. But the reason for the difference in spelling is extremely rare in English. Usually the differences in spelling are due to, of course, American and British English. But for blonde, this is just not the case. Blonde with an E is used for females, and blonde without the E is for males. The use of the color is also quite unusual, as it is mostly used to describe hair color. This woman is a blonde. That man has blonde hair. Now, certainly you can use blonde for other things, but really it is mostly used to describe hair color. So now that you've learned all the colors that you need to know in English, you don't have to live in black and white anymore. It's time to come to the color world. Thanks so much for watching, and have a colorful day.